Hey y'all, Gary here with Tennessee Stands. Just a response to this whole Biden, vaccine mandate. 100 employees or more mandate the vaccine. I guess it's being done through OSHA rules and regulations now, requiring event venues and whatnot. Look, here's the thing, and of course, many in our legislature are saying, "Oh, how dare Biden make these mandates?" And Governor Lee is tweeting, "Oh, how dare this president say that freedom is not important?" Here's the thing. We've been under these restrictions through business in Tennessee ever since the vaccine came out, and the governor and the General Assembly at large so far has been clear that they desire to do nothing about it. The Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, and much of the House, Tennessee House, has put out a call for a special session regarding masks in schools, not necessarily so much about vaccine requirements by businesses, but nonetheless, in large, our cries as Tennesseans have fallen on deaf ears because the argument has been from many conservatives, quote-unquote conservatives, in our Tennessee legislature and the governor, that they believe businesses are well within their rights to make these requirements. It is way past time that we change our thinking on how we look at private property rights and the rights of business owners versus the rights of individuals. Can I just put something out there? Businesses are people. Businesses and people are not two different things. The interests of businesses and the interests of people are not two different things. Business rights, private property rights, and individual liberties are not two different things. They're all individual rights. They are all based on the constitutionally secured rights of individuals. Some individuals happen to own businesses. Some individuals happen to work for businesses, but they're all individuals. Our legislature and our governor, but predominantly our legislature, is required to act in such a way as to preserve those rights of both parties to the highest degree possible, where one party is not allowed to trample on the constitutionally secured individual liberties of anyone. The individual employee should not be able to trample on the business owner's rights, and the business owner should not be able to trample on the individual's rights. It's a two-way street. It goes both ways. And the legislature has a duty and a responsibility to uphold the liberties of both parties. Let me just make a statement. I don't care what comes out of the White House and what crazy nonsense comes out of President Biden's senile mouth. You're not doing your job. People are losing their jobs. People are being coerced into being vaccinated and making decisions they don't want to make for them and their families. We used to believe in the United States of America and in Tennessee that coercion was a bad thing. There's actually federal law against people having to make decisions out of duress, is the legal term they use in lots of federal code. Duress and coercion has always been a bad thing, but all of a sudden in Tennessee, as long as businesses are forcibly and using coercive tactics to convince people to get vaccinated, well, coercion's just fine. It's private property rights. Coercion's cool now because of private. No, you are wrong. And you have had this responsibility since COVID. I mean, this whole emergency has been a sham and a debacle from the top. We've been ruled by executive order for 18 months. It's time to stop. But no one stops it. The governor doesn't stop it. Our legislature doesn't. No one has the will to stop this thing. Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally just continues to twiddle his thumbs and pretend that everything is just okay and these are all local decisions. No, they're not local decisions. Local decisions are driven by state statute. You realize that, right? You realize that these are not just local decisions. You realize that when counties make an ordinance that it has to follow state law. Do we all get that? We realize that decisions that school boards make and decisions that counties make and decisions that our cities make here in Tennessee are still come from the authority of state law. These are not just local decisions. These are all decisions defined by our Constitution and further defined by state law. Legislators, wake up! You have a duty and a responsibility to protect these liberties by state law. You must come into special session, not by the call of the governor, but by your call. The people's representatives must call themselves into a special session to, number one, check the powers of a governor who continues to exceed his authority and do nothing to protect the liberties of these people, but shout out talking points and talk about, how much freedom matters, but then does nothing and calls for no action from the legislature to do anything about it. And a legislature who continues to sit idly by while families are stripped of their parental rights over the health care decisions of their own children in schools, while students are forced to be vaccinated just to get an education while they're tens and some hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt. They don't have the ability to just go to a new school. They're being coerced into being vaccinated, or they're being masked and tested all day, which is quite uncomfortable, I believe, for most of us. Or people are losing their jobs and their livelihoods because you, General Assembly, are not doing the duty, your constitutionally prescribed duty, by the way, of securing the rights of individuals. I implore you, this is not the fault of the Biden administration. It is your fault. This is you shirking your responsibility of protecting and defending the liberty of all Tennesseans by passing law that we must abide by in this state. Please call yourselves into special session by a 2/3 vote of the General Assembly, not by the call of the governor, but by the call of the people's representatives. Return to the people's house, come to the Capitol, and do your job. And not just protect us from the tyrannical pinnings and senile, whatever you want to call it, of this fake pseudo-federal administration that we now have in the White House, but also from a privatized agenda. Because you get that's what this is, right? We're going to protect our businesses here in Tennessee. No, we don't just protect businesses. Businesses are not different from people. We protect people. We protect liberty. We protect the Constitution. Do you realize the Constitution never secured rights to businesses? We get that, right? The Constitution has secured rights to people. You know that there are no God-given unalienable rights to businesses, right? Do we get that? There's no unalienable rights to businesses. There's no unalienable rights to mechanically created persons or entities. People have God-given inalienable rights. And you have a constitutional duty to protect those. Protect the rights of individuals, of the citizens of this state. I implore you, members of the General Assembly of the state of Tennessee, it's on you now. It's on you. Tennessee is watching. Call yourselves into special session by a 2/3 majority now and fix this. Restrict businesses. Yes, restrict business entities from coercing individuals into making medical decisions that are individual, personal decisions, not decisions to be made by corporations and businesses throughout the state of Tennessee, but by people. Fix this nonsense going on in our schools, and let's stop being ruled by executive orders in the state of Tennessee and return to legislative action and legislative functions here in the state of Tennessee. Please, it's time to act. We're calling on you as Tennesseans to act now and defend liberty and stand up to this tyranny that is now upon us. We've waited for too long.